Hey YouTube. Hey everyone, I hope everyone's doing well. Just wanted to thank everyone actually for following, and many of you have made awesome comments and really encouraging comments that kind of motivates me to continue on this channel. So thanks for being so awesome. As if you've been following me at all or watching my videos, my focus is more about helping others to process through transitioning out of cults or Jehovah's Witness religion, especially if you've been shunned, because it's a very difficult thing to have your community completely removed from you through the shunning process. So having been there a couple times, and it's a kind of ongoing process, I share some of that kind of stuff. But also, if you're here to preach, about how exJWs or myself really need help and you need to find God and you guys are lost souls and all that kind of stuff, just keep moving on, because that's just like sheep stuff. So it just needs to stop, I think. This type of preaching is very similar, I think, to Jehovah's Witnesses and other religions that have no tolerance for people's belief systems or people's choices in general. So, and I think it's very closed-minded, and I've moved on with that way of life and way of thinking. So, and I know many of you who follow me also have moved on from that, and this space is not for who's right, who's wrong, and to really go over which teachings are right and what's wrong and all that kind of stuff with actual teachings. That's not what this is about. So so I'm just out in the forest, one of my favorite places, and with my dog, because you guys love him. So hey Rio, there he is. He's awesome. So yeah, just hanging out. I just gave him some treats to kind of be so good, right Rio? Because you're so good. He's awesome. Anyways, I was actually planning to do a video for the memorial. You okay? Oops. All right. Sorry. For the memorial, because it marks my 11 years out of the JW cult stuff, and I was going to celebrate with doing a video, but I did celebrate, but I just didn't do a video. I was going to talk about, and I'm talking about it now. So so it's 11 years since I've been out, yay! And I know other people are celebrating their various years out and all that. So please share how long you've been out and all that kind of stuff. Love to hear that and how you're doing. So around the memorial, actually I think it was 2 weeks before, my mom, who is very much in it, and actually my parents don't talk to me because I'm in a common law relationship, and also I don't believe in the religion anymore. So most of my JW family, they don't speak to me. They won't text me. They don't, unless it's like a preaching type of thing. So anyway, so I get this message from my mom, and and I'm going to share some of that with you guys. So she reached out with, basically it's an invite to the memorial, and she says stuff like, many years ago, this young girl dedicated her life to Jehovah, and she was happy, so it seemed. And I mean, I was 13 when I got baptized, right? So dedication at that age, I think, is a farce, because at that age, a 13-year-old doesn't know anything about what their life is going to be like with any decision. And so pretty much everything that's happening up to that age and up to the age you move out, really, is guided by your parents. So to say that was my choice to dedicate my life, and even knowing what that meant, other than fear of losing out of my life if I didn't get baptized and dedicate my life to Jehovah at that point, yeah, it's so unfair to put that on a child at that age. Anyway, so yeah, her message to me was, it seems that she really loved and dedicated her life to Jehovah. I'm extending this invitation to this girl, me, to the memorial. So please go to jw.org, and that's the official site she has in parentheses, which was so kind of funny. I mean, my mom is like in her, I think she's 70. See, that's the thing. We don't celebrate birthdays, so you don't really keep track of whose birthday, or what age is anybody. So, which is probably a good thing, maybe. Anyway, so yeah, she goes, go to the online site, jw.org, which I'm very familiar with, obviously. As an exJW, we kind of peek in and see what the heck's going on, because it's crazy stuff. And they didn't have that, 11 years ago when I left. They didn't have that site. No. Anyhow, so then she goes, yeah, go and find the celebration that's near to you. So, I celebrated, 35 years or whatever, right from, I was born into the religion. So, yeah, I know all about the memorial. That's the only thing you did celebrate as a Jehovah's Witness. So, yeah, I didn't go, because I'm like, why would I go? It's basically a recruitment session, is how I look at it now. And yeah, so she went on to, in her message to me after the invite to go to the website, she said that, world conditions fulfill Bible prophecy of the last days before the Great Tribulation breaks out. The latest is the Russian government taking over the country's facilities of Jehovah's worship, invading our homes, jailing the brothers and sisters without any reason, and planting evidence. And our governing body is... Our governing body is stating this could well be our last memorial! We are closer than close. So there's a few things in there that I was just like, this sounds so much like what the governing body would actually tell its members to put out there, right? Like when it says jailing the brothers and sisters without invading the homes, and planting evidence. Obviously, this is all being fed. And I'm not super in touch with what's going on in Russia, other than they're saying no more religion kind of deal. And whatever, it doesn't affect me necessarily. So, you only have so much time to take in what types of media is out there. So anyways, I haven't really looked into it. It's something that's been really going on, and I believe that they are doing a letter writing campaign and that kind of stuff, as I remember doing that before too. Malawi. I don't know if any of you are around, you probably were. Some of you would remember the letter writing campaign to Malawi to petition the government basically to let, to release Jehovah's Witnesses that were being persecuted or something. Or see, I was too young to really understand what the heck was going on other than writing a letter. So, okay, so back to my mother's letter to me about the governing body stating this might be our last memorial. And we are closer than close. Do you all remember, if you've been around the religion long enough, or if you're born and raised into it like I was, this is something that the governing body has been stating for many years. They don't attach a date to it anymore because they've failed in dating the end of the system so many times that to actually date, saying the end is coming today or tomorrow or in 2020 or, they don't, I hope they don't, because it's just craziness. And they failed at it so many times. How can you date something that a man has written anyways? So yeah, then she finished off, please consider all of this to make your choice, and may Jehovah guide your decision. So whatever. I didn't go, and I didn't even bother looking for the memorial nearby me because I knew I wasn't planning to go anyways, and I was just going to celebrate my own way, which I did actually. And got a bottle of wine, and I was just like, yeah, right on. I've been out 11 years because 11 years ago was my last memorial that I attended. So yay, good to be out and away from that. But it never really ends there, does it? Because after you're out, you still are dealing with, especially if you have family that's still involved in it, like I do. You never really are out of it. Well, you are out of it, but you're the effects. Never mind the shunning effects and trying to rebuild your whole life because of, you don't have your family or your friends and all that kind of stuff, support system around you that you used to have. So yeah, never mind all that. It's something that you continually comes up for you if you have family that's still in the religion. So, yeah, but I didn't respond. And then she, the day before the memorial, she also texted my fiance, and he's never been a Jehovah's Witness, which is awesome. And he's extremely supportive of he actually was the one that told me I should start a channel like this, or this channel, to basically help me process through. So he's extremely supportive man and person. He's just an amazing person. But anyway, she texted him and said basically that, how did she put it? Basically, it was extending an invitation to him too, and to let him know that he's been misinformed of that religion. I don't know how she put it actually, but he's been misinformed, and that I know the basics, but she can help him with learning more about it, and to also go to jw.org. That seems to be the number one push. So yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? So yeah, see, he didn't, but at the same time, we both have talked about it many, many times, because we're just like, how do you respond to that? You know it's a sales call, it's a recruitment thing, and rather than, because we don't talk, she doesn't talk to us. They don't have, we hardly ever see them. I think I saw my parents a couple of years ago. We hear that they kind of drive through the area, but they don't reach out, because I know that it's because we're not married by paper, right? Where it's common law, and so it is completely lawful. So it's kind of a ridiculous thing, but it is what it is. So so from that though, it feels so culty, but at the same time, it's like, well, how do you respond? Because it kind of fires you up, kind of makes you kind of pissed off. But at the same time, I'm like, you know what? They're in their 70s. My parents, like I said, I don't totally know their age, which is so funny, because anyways, you just don't really know people's age growing up in the religion, because you just never celebrate birthdays, right? However, I know they're in that age of probably 70. I have to find the year they were born just to figure it all out. But at that age, I'm like, I know that so much of it is all about the resurrection, and my brother, because my brother died when I was 4.5 and he was 3, and it was a pretty traumatic event, obviously, in our family. And I think that's really a large part as to why my parents are so uber, the uber JW. I call them uber because it's like, over the top kind of people. Like, there's no gray areas. It's whatever the governing body says is goes, right? So, and they're, special pioneers and all the rest of it. So it is that. So yeah, at this age and stage in their life, why would I, I'm not going to try to change their thinking. I'm not going to crush their dreams. I mean, that's what they hold on to. And so many, especially in the seniors of the seniors, like I think of my grandma as well, she disassociated herself from me 2 years ago. I sent her flowers, and then the next day or so, she's like, I can't associate with you anymore because you don't follow Jehovah, and you're not married, and all this kind of stuff, right? So it was very weird. Sorry, that was my dog. He's like, I'll just show you. Hey, Rio. He's being so good, because I keep giving him little treats so he stays good. So yeah, I'm not about to crush, seniors' dreams of everlasting life when they're so close to the possible end of their life. even though it could probably go on another 20, 30 years. You know, people are living to hundreds. They're hundreds now. So yeah, but I do feel like, you know, even if people come out, oh no, one thing, okay, maybe back up. So even if people, let's say, because a lot of times they join religions or they join cults or they join, I mean, it's all a community thing, right? Really. Because you're part of a community, but you also have this other hope of everlasting life, hope of never dying, hope of paradise on earth, all these promises and hopes, right? So these dreams, it's a dream somebody's giving you. So it feels good, but the community feels good. I mean, I miss that sometimes too, where I'm just like, oh, it'd be so great to, but see my people, see my family, see my community, but because that was a good feeling, right? You get to see them multiple times a week, and some more than others you wish you didn't see, but anyhow, that whole thing, taking religion away from people that really need it, is definitely not something I want to do for people, because some people need it. That's what gets them through, and they don't have that capacity, or they don't have the will or the strength or whatever it is to look outside of a religion to actually determine maybe there is something else, or maybe I can be happy without, you know, believing in some ancient Bible or book or whatever it is. And for those of you that are following who do believe in whatever you believe, I'm not putting you down at all. Like, you know, it is what it is. We all can believe different things, and that's why I preach tolerance, because I truly believe that people should believe what they believe, so long as they're not hurting other people, right? And so long as those things aren't detrimental to a community and society in general, and uplifting our communities and society, rather than being very down and depressed. Because one of the things on that point is, so I saw this post of on Facebook, and so around the Notre Dame fire that happened, right? And so an actual Jehovah's Witness posted this comment about it, saying, yeah, this is what happens to false religion. You know, Jehovah will expunge everybody, and, you know, all this kind of stuff when Armageddon comes. Can't wait till that happens. And like, it was very, very hateful, very, very, you know, it's a very divisive type of thing, and as religion often is, it can be very divisive. Some aren't, of course. So those of you that are part of non-divisive religions, good for you. I'm happy to know that. But as you know, there absolutely are very divisive religions and people and politics out there. So, so this post, anyways, that I saw on Facebook about the Notre Dame cathedral being burnt down, and this Jehovah's Witness had posted about just like, oh, isn't this great that this is how we're going to see false religion go down, and all this kind of stuff. And I thought, how sad, how sickening, actually, right? How depressing that's someone can actually look at that and be joyful, right? But I was thinking, that is very much how we all, I'm putting all of you exJWs with me, but that's how we as exJW, that's how we grew up, or that's how we all have been taught, and through the governing body. Like, isn't that great? You know, I remember going to assemblies, and that same kind of rhetoric is being thrown around, that isn't this great? This could be our last one, and you know, all the everyone who's not following Jehovah is in Satan's world, and they're going to be done away with. So basically, happy that the majority of the world is going to die. Yeah, sad, right? It's sad, and I don't know that everyone takes such delight in it, because I think some people in the religion actually get quite depressed around it, because it is very depressing, right? It's very negative. And I'd have to say that a lot of people in the religion are quite depressed, you know. And then never mind people that leave and go through a certain amount of depression anyways, because of all the shunning and stuff, right? So, but, and on that too, I was thinking, you know what, even if someone joins the Jehovah's Witnesses and, they're feeling helpless, let's say they lost someone, let's say a family member or a friend who they lost in death, right? So somebody died close to them. Often that's very much a time for recruitment, right? As we've all seen, and us exJWs, and that's used very often to give that promise of seeing them again and that resurrection hope, right? So, yeah, but even if they were to join, I truly believe that it doesn't take very long for someone to get depressed again, because of the negativity that is surrounds that cult, that religion. And I think that's probably the same with many cults, because once you have that amount of control, like for governing body, for instance, when the governing body puts so much control on people through their behavior, the information that they give out, the thought process, they change people's thought processes on things, and they're emotional, right? So it's that whole, I don't know if you guys have looked into that, but if you look into the BITE model, so BITE, behavior, informational thought, and emotional control, those are kind of like the basics of what would define a cult. And anyway, so but I believe so much of that is it's extremely, well, it's not what I believe, I know, it's divisive, but it's also very negative. So people get depressed around that, and it is sad. But for those of us who have survived and who are survivors of the JW cult and are out of it and have woke up, I commend you for being here and celebrate with you. I'm curious on what your thoughts were around the memorial. What came up for you, and did you go? Did somebody reach out to you like they reached out to me with an invitation, and did you go? And how was that for you? So if any of those things applied to you, I'm curious to hear from you. And I'm planning to make more videos and be more in touch with you guys. I might do some lives as well. If you want anything, if you want me to talk about anything, if there's any topic that you're just like, I want to hear more about, whatever, put it in the comments. I read everyone's comment, and it is on if you don't see your comment show up, sometimes if you've put scripture or links or, oh my God, who knows what, there's swearing, a lot of those things go into a filter, so they might not ever show up in my comments, because I'm trying to keep the community a very more of a positive place to hang out and be considerate of other people's beliefs within this channel. So, all right, okay, let's say goodbye, Rio. Okay, there he is. He's just waiting for like some good old treats. All right, everyone, have a fantastic day, week, month, and we will be in touch. All right, bye-bye.